for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get
Think he's
hit up.
insane though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's a lot of it is.
But then it's just another Epstein.
there's
It's another
murder
Ghislaine Maxwell, where
there's
somebody
murder
gets indicted
cases.
and nobody else indicted for trafficking kids to
Right.
no one.
To no one. Right. We're like, what is the next crazy thing that's going to explode in the news? Is Bill Clinton's going to have an OnlyFans? Like, what is going to happen? What is the next thing that's going to make us all go, what the is going on?
It's coming. You know, it's
How
coming.
many guys were on video saying, ain't no party like a Diddy party? How many people like openly talked about being there?
LeBron?
Yeah, how about Ashton Kutcher? All these people. Like, you guys all went. You didn't see.
Joe Rogan just dropped a bomb that's got the internet spinning. While talking about Diddy's legal mess, Rogan hinted at something way bigger and way darker. Some listeners say he cracked open a door that powerful people have worked hard to keep locked tight. Now everyone's whispering that Diddy's situation might just be the tip of something way higher up the chain. What's wild is that people are starting to connect dots that lead straight to a hidden power circle, the kind that rarely ever gets called out. In this video, we're digging into that system from the ground up, starting with Diddy and climbing toward the names that somehow never get dragged into the spotlight. Folks are asking who really runs things, why certain people stay untouchable, and how their names always vanish from serious investigations. Something's not adding up, and people are finally starting to say it out loud. By even daring to speak on it, Joe Rogan might have just stepped into some risky territory. The chatter online is that some subjects in entertainment and media aren't just controversial. They're straight up off limits. Listeners think Rogan may have accidentally pulled at a thread that the industry never wanted touched. And the way reactions are pouring in, people are rethinking how power actually works behind the scenes. Right now, Sean Diddy Combs is sitting in jail, waiting for his trial. But many believe that story doesn't start or end with him. Commentators are saying that focusing only on Diddy is exactly what the higher-ups want. Recent podcasts and online breakdowns hint that the headlines are just the surface layer of something way deeper. The alleged connections stretch across media, politics, and corporate power, all tied together by influence that's finally being questioned in public for the first time. That same podcast episode lit the fire all over again because it didn't treat this like one random scandal. It painted it as part of a bigger, repeating pattern. According to how it was framed, the entertainment world, powerful executives, and major money players often move through the same secretive networks that almost never face real accountability. Nobody's saying every link in the chain is confirmed, but the setup itself raises questions that can't just be ignored anymore. Something about this system feels too organized to be coincidence. People are saying it's important to pay attention to what Diddy's actually being accused of, at least based on the public claims. Federal prosecutors allege he used his power and influence to push people into disturbing and compromising situations. Online discussions keep circling around private events, sometimes called freak-offs, where people were reportedly caught up in things they didn't fully understand were happening. The rumors sound wild, but they're backed by an increasing number of serious reports. According to public records, more than 100 individuals have now come forward with accusations connected to Diddy's alleged behavior. Some of the claims are extremely serious, including ones involving underage individuals, which makes the legal process even more intense. All of these allegations are still under investigation, but the scale of it has everyone watching closely. The whole conversation blew up again when 50 Cent dropped his Netflix documentary, The Reckoning. The film didn't claim to give all the answers, but it reignited a storm that had been simmering under the surface for months. What caught people's attention wasn't just the details. It was the growing suspicion that Diddy might not have been the only one in the room making moves. Something bigger could be sitting right behind the scenes. This was the moment when Joe Rogan's take really hit a nerve. In one episode, he started comparing Diddy's situation to Jeffrey Epstein's case, and that instantly sent shockwaves through listeners. The parallels, at least in structure, were hard to deny. In both stories, the public saw high-profile indictments, but when it came to true accountability, the trail suddenly went cold. That's what got people talking all over again. Rogan pointed out a disturbing pattern that just won't go away. People get charged with trafficking, but the official records rarely show who was actually benefiting behind the scenes. Epstein's case raised that exact question, and so did Ghislaine Maxwell's conviction. Both situations ended with people wondering who was protected and why the most powerful names never faced serious exposure. Critics say it's the same story on repeat. Those at the top stay shielded while the ones below take the fall. The podcast conversation then turned towards celebrities who had once attended Diddy's infamous parties. Names like LeBron James and Ashton Kutcher popped up, not as direct accusations, but as reminders of how normal and accepted those environments once seemed. Rogan dropped a simple but haunting question. How could so many people be there and claim they saw nothing? That line alone sparked chaos online. The longer the silence lasts, the more people think there's something that's being kept under wraps. From there, the discussion climbed even higher, past the celebrity level and into corporate power. Commentators began saying that while Diddy was influential in his own circle, he might not have been the one truly pulling the strings. Universal Music Group suddenly became part of the conversation, with its chief executive, Lucian Grange, named as one of the most powerful figures in the entire global music scene. Now the question being whispered everywhere is, how deep does this really go? Online investigators keep pointing to a major lawsuit filed by an artist named Lil Rod, and it's got the internet buzzing.
These words would come out my mouth, but Candace Owens is onto something, and that did not feel comfortable at all. So Candace says the reason mainstream news is not picking up this lawsuit, is not paying attention to Diddy at all, is because of this man right here, Lucian Grange. He is one of the most powerful men in Hollywood and music. And he been up in Diddy's room. So this man right here is Sir Lucian Charles Grange. He's been the CEO of Universal Music Group since 2010, so you know he done seen some shit. So I had to go to the damn documents. I had to see if this man was actually named, and he is. As you can see, it says Lucian Charles Grange, and it also says Universal Music Group. On top of that, it says Ethiopia. I cannot fuck up her last name. I refuse to. But she was also a big person in Universal Music Group. And then Christina Coramham, Lord forgive. But she was like Diddy's second hand.
Reports say Lucian Grange's name appeared in those court papers, and while no guilt has been proven, the details raise some big questions about how massive record labels might protect their own. The idea floating around isn't that everything in the lawsuit is confirmed, it's that the system itself seems built to give powerful people a safety net when trouble hits. From this angle, these corporations aren't just running the business. They're the gatekeepers deciding what the world gets to see and what stays hidden. Documents discussed across social media claim that Grange was aware of and possibly even present at certain exclusive gatherings hosted by Diddy. None of this has been proven in court, but the talk alone has set off heated debates everywhere. People are asking how much the music industry really knows and how deep the silence goes. Some legal filings reportedly hint that troubling behavior happened at those parties, including the presence of underage individuals, which only adds more fire to the controversy. Again, these are allegations from legal documents, not verified facts, but they've sparked non-stop speculation. Even Candace Owens jumped into the conversation, questioning why major media outlets barely touch this angle. Her argument? The people at the top hold massive sway over what stories make headlines and which ones disappear quietly. The lawsuit also calls out other Universal Music Group executives, claiming they might have known what was happening and looked the other way. That's why so many are now wondering if accountability only applies when it's convenient for the industry. When billions of dollars are on the line, it's not just business, it's control. And that's where things get even more explosive. Many are asking why the story hasn't blown up across big networks like CNN or Fox News. The theory is that the same power players controlling the music world also have reach inside the media machine. And when people start digging into Diddy's inner circle, one name keeps surfacing: Jay-Z. For years, Diddy and Jay-Z have been painted as more than just collaborators. They've been described as brothers in business and power. Diddy even once said that only two people can call him by his real name: Sean, his mother, and Jay-Z. That one quote alone has fans wondering just how close these two really were behind the scenes, and what that connection might mean now. This is where Jaguar Wright steps into the spotlight, and she didn't hold back for a second. Known for calling out the darker side of the music world, she appeared in a major interview with Piers Morgan and dropped some bold claims involving both Jay-Z and Diddy. But here's what really shocked viewers. The full interview suddenly became hard to find right after it aired. That disappearance got people asking, why would a mainstream outlet bury something that explosive? During that sit-down, Wright didn't mince words. She questioned why Jay-Z could appear on national TV with Gayle King and never be asked directly about the long-circulating industry rumors. She described both Jay-Z and Diddy as two of the most powerful figures shaping the entire music game, controlling careers, setting trends, and applying pressure behind closed doors for decades. The way she spoke made it sound like their influence ran way deeper than anyone outside the industry could imagine. Then came the twist that sent conversations spiraling. People started asking why Jay-Z's own attorney was reportedly connected to matters tied to Diddy's legal troubles. Jay-Z himself hasn't said a single word publicly about it, and that silence has everyone wondering if it's really just calm or calculated. Joe Rogan has pointed out before that people with serious power rarely face controversy head-on. Instead, they have high-end lawyers and fixers whose only job is to control what gets out and what stays hidden. Names like Alan Grumman keep popping up. He's known for representing some of the biggest names in the entertainment world. Insiders say he's the glue that holds everything together, the guy who knows where every story starts and where it's supposed to end. He's the one drafting NDAs, managing leaks, and keeping sensitive information locked away for decades. According to this point of view, information is the real currency in the entertainment game. The ones who control it aren't just managing reputations, they're managing reality itself. That's the same theme Joe Rogan keeps circling back to when talking with ex-intelligence insiders. They draw eerie parallels between how governments guard secrets and how Diddy's alleged private gatherings were supposedly kept under wraps. It's all about who controls the story and who's powerful enough to make it disappear.
Only one person.
I'm going.
And I call him Sean. That's Jay-Z. We call each other Sean.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody else could call me Sean.
He's the only person who's Sean approved.
There's not a single person that
outside of family.
That should be outside of my mother.
Okay,
That should be calling me. Yeah, they should be calling me Sean.
The conversation takes an even darker turn here, with people online comparing what's being alleged about Diddy's world to something like an Epstein Island operation. The theory floating around isn't that Diddy built a massive network all by himself, but that he acted as a facilitator, someone who had the money, reach, and personality to set up the kind of private environments where high-profile guests could move quietly away from the public eye. And that raises one chilling question. If the rumors about recordings are true, who were those tapes really for? Speculation online gets wild, with claims that unseen John Doe participants, allegedly including politicians, global business executives, and elite donors, might have enjoyed access to these exclusive spaces while staying completely off the radar. Posts circulating across social media even suggest there could be hours upon hours of unreleased footage, not just from Diddy's events, but possibly overlapping with material once linked to Epstein. None of this has been proven, but the whispers keep getting louder. During one of Joe Rogan's podcast conversations, Elon Musk threw fuel on the fire by hinting that certain political figures receive heavy financial support because some donors are terrified of what might come out if power shifts. In that same context, names like Reid Hoffman and Bill Gates have been mentioned in online discussions, not as direct accusations, but as examples of how fear and control might operate at the highest levels. It's about influence, reputation, and keeping secrets locked away forever. This is what analysts call the facilitator model. In this setup, people like Epstein or Diddy aren't seen as the masterminds. They're viewed as the middlemen, the ones who create safe, closed-off spaces where powerful guests can act freely without outside eyes watching. According to this theory, those environments work like honeypots, carefully crafted traps designed for leverage, observation, and long-term control. It's a chilling concept, but it's exactly what's fueling the internet's obsession with who's really pulling the strings behind the scenes. After the federal raids on Diddy's properties, everything went into overdrive. Reports started flying that investigators had seized a massive amount of recorded material, enough to shake the industry if it ever sees daylight. Commentators like Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal both suggested that these tapes weren't just blackmail. They were insurance, a way for Diddy, or whoever held them, to keep power without ever needing to say a word. The threat wasn't spoken, it was stored. Things heated up even more when Megyn Kelly pointed out that, despite the viral video showing Diddy physically assaulting Cassie Ventura, he still hasn't been officially charged for that specific footage. Viewers couldn't believe it. If something that clear didn't make it into the charges, what else is being protected behind the scenes? That gap between what the public saw and what the law pursued made people ask a bigger question. Who's really in control here? Who owns those recordings now? What's actually on them? And what would happen if some of the most powerful names in entertainment, business, or even religion were caught on camera doing things they thought would never be seen? These questions exploded again after viewers noticed some eyebrow-raising visuals in 50 Cent's documentary, The Reckoning. During parts that discussed Diddy's private parties, the film suddenly showed images of Bishop T.D. Jakes, and fans immediately started debating whether that was a coincidence or a message. When Bishop Jakes was later questioned about it, his response made the situation even murkier. Instead of denying anything outright, he spoke about forgiveness and repentance, a statement that to many sounded way too vague to be comforting. Jaguar Wright fired back, saying that if someone like Bishop Jakes was ever in those circles, it probably wasn't spiritual, it was strategic. She claimed those gatherings weren't just parties, they were leverage zones. Gene Deal backed up the same idea, hinting that some of those recordings could eventually leak, flipping everything from rumor to reality.
You have these guys, like a Jeffrey Epstein type guy, who works with the elite of the elite clientele. It's all movie stars, big-time politicians, world leaders, scientists, Nobel Prize winners, and they all meet together and have fascinating conversations and cocktails, and there's beautiful girls everywhere. Of course. What a great idea.
Right.
And if you're naive and you don't understand honeypots.
Here's the quote from Maria Farmer, who was one of the accusers from what was inside the house in New York.
Okay, she said, there were monitors inside this cabinet. I looked on the cameras and I saw toilet, bed, toilet. She said, visibly spooked. Like, I'm never going to use the restroom here and I'm never going to sleep here. You know what I mean? It was very obvious that they were like monitoring private moments. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Maria Farmer was the one who worked at Epstein's office in New York, I think.
And this was the house, Jamie?
Yeah, I was looking up stuff on the house. That was like what they
I
found.
wonder if the
in
house still has fucking cameras in it somewhere that they haven't found yet.
They definitely, don't know.
Yeah, you'd have to scan the shit out of that house. You'd have to take the walls apart. There's probably listening devices inside the walls. Like, who knows? If this was like really an intelligence operation, yeah, they probably had that house fully wired.
And that's when analysts began mapping all of this out visually as a pyramid of power. At the base, you've got the celebrities. People like Jay-Z and Beyonce, huge stars, but still bound by limits and contracts. Above them sit the real gatekeepers, the executives, financiers, and media power players who control access, money, and fame. Each level protects the one above it, and if those tapes ever surface, that entire pyramid could start to crack. At the very top of this alleged pyramid sits a layer most people never see, a shadow zone where entertainment, politics, tech, and even religion quietly overlap. This idea isn't exactly new. Years ago, Dave Chappelle warned the world about it, saying the entertainment business wasn't just about creativity, it was about control. When someone asked why he didn't just move his show to another network, his answer was chilling. Leaving would be like switching plantations. Different owner, same chains. That line still echoes today. And if someone as powerful and respected as Dave Chappelle felt trapped inside the system, what does that mean for everyone else just trying to survive in it? From alleged hidden recordings to quiet industry gatekeepers, from high-profile silence to eerie Epstein-style patterns, the deeper you look, the harder it becomes to call any of this random. There's a sense that the pieces might finally be connecting, and people everywhere are starting to notice. So the question still stands, are these just isolated scandals colliding by chance, or are we finally catching glimpses of a structure that's been running the show from the shadows all along? The conversation isn't slowing down, it's only getting louder. Like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Because the truth might not come wrapped in headlines, but it's definitely out there somewhere. Stay sharp, stay questioning, and keep digging for what's really going on behind those polished Hollywood smiles.